I can pass it over to the AI team to take over from here.
Okay. Mike, did you say we take over from here?
That's right. I'll keep letting people in.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but you can.
Well, let us know when you want us to start. Okay.
Go ahead. I think we're good. Lavie's coming in. We'll have Felicia as well coming in a little bit later.
Okay. Okay.
And then I think 2 other youth, but we're mostly here for now.
No.
All righty. Okay. Well, hello everyone. I hope you're all doing okay. How are you doing? Give me a thumbs up. Hey, awesome, awesome. Okay, so today we have Helen testify. Did I pronounce that correct? Yes, awesome. And she's a case manager at CWA. And so she is going to be delivering a presentation to you all on financial literacy, okay? And there's going to be an emphasis on credit and banking, and she'll touch on a few other items as well, because we thought this was important. Like I remember when I turned 18, literally the banks were throwing credit cards at me. And I had no idea what to do with it. I thought it was free money and I can just spend at will. And then my mom was like, are you crazy? Have you seen the interest rates on these things? What's wrong with you? Cut them all up now. Of course, that meant no more designer bags and shoes for me. So anyway, so Helen Tesfaye, she is a case manager at CWA, and I'm going to let her introduce herself, and she will tell you a little bit more about what she'll be talking about today and her role at CWA. And so, Helen, take it away. Thank you so much. Thank you. Actually, before I pass it on, I would actually like to say thank you very much, Helen, for agreeing to do this and for supporting this project. Because Helen just stepped in last minute because Lucy wasn't able to do it. And I know she is equally competent, and we really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule. So over to you. You're on mute. I think you're still on mute.
I'm not sure if she's still in the meeting, actually.
Let me check. Yep, I think she might have been kicked out.
Okay, letting her back.
And Rita's back. Hi, Rita.
Hi.
After what, 20 minutes, you now notice me? Seriously?
Can you hear me?
I thought I was larger than a dot.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can.
What's happening is, so I have to, I'm working from my laptop, and I have to go to the desk remote and then back, so it keeps on kicking me back. I don't know if I'm able to share. I'll try one more time to share my PowerPoint, and then we will see. Can you see what I'm sharing?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I think it's going to kick me out again. Hello everyone, my name is Helen Tesfaye. I'm a case manager at CWA. So CWA, we do have different programs, and financial literacy is one of the things we do. We have a match saving program. So in our match saving program, we deliver all the five topics of financial literacy. Today we're doing the banking and the credit, but what the match saving is, whereby we teach participants on how, budgeting, assets, consumerism, credit, and all that, and they save $50 and it's matched $150. I don't know if you're aware of this. So we deliver this to our clients. We also deliver the financial literacy to other programs as well. So this is on top of what I'm doing. It's part of what I'm doing. Thank you for your time. And I think I ended up going to a different link. I tried to join from 4:45. I was trying to join, so I'm sorry for that. How is everyone? Good. Okay, so we're going to talk about banking. I'm not a financial
Nketi, if you don't mind.
Sorry?
No, I'm asking Nketi for permission to say something.
Why are you asking for permission? Please carry on.
Yes. So I was just wanting to find out if anyone has been assigned to take notes for today, because we need a notes for our toolkit going forward. So if you don't have a designated maybe note taker, someone should be volunteering on the SOS site to start taking those notes. Can you help us out with that? I mean, not with taking the notes, but moderating that for someone to take the notes.
Yeah, I'll figure it out through the chat, and then the presentation can continue. I'll message somebody and we'll figure out the notes.
Okay, thank you very much. And then the other thing I had on my mind was just to reiterate a point or two about the connectivity between what we are doing now and previous topics. So every week we want to remind us that the information we are getting is progressive and cumulative. So progressive in the sense of time-wise, we are learning something new every time we meet. But then cumulatively, we are expecting that your knowledge is going to broaden and deepen as we go from session to session. And the point of all of that is to grow that cultural capital we were talking about, and to grow your sense of empowerment as we go along. We are doing this session because we know that when people don't have financial stability or financial independence, the risk that they are going to be suffering some kind of social injustice is very high. So we just want to reiterate these points as the reason why this is part of the larger goal of what we are doing here with anti-racism work. Because if we don't have money, then it's harder to fight personal racism or systemic racism. So keep that at the back of your mind as Helen goes through all of her slides, and you reflect on them as we go along. So if anything kind of jumps out at you in terms of how you had suffered something, you make a note of that, because we'll be needing all of these collective resources as we go along. So just a little bit of context setting before we start. Sorry for babbling along. Ellen, thank you.
Thank you. And I'm really glad to connect with you guys. And I do believe that this is like, for our youth, and especially like for youth, though, even those who are born, our children born in Canada, and those who are coming from outside, like the systemic racism, it's like a huge thing. And I'm really glad the programs like this exists. So banking, as I said, I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm just going to give the basic information. And I'm also here to learn. If you have some information, we can feel free to share, but I'm providing the basic information. For an icebreaker, just two people voluntarily for today, if I gave you $20, what would you do with it? Anyone? Nikita, help me pick someone.
I see Afro's smile, so I think Afro should go first.
I'm going to be honest, if I were given $20, I'd be very hesitant to even spend it.
And another person?
Who else is here? Jolie? Jolie?
For me, I think it depends on the circumstances. If I need to buy things, of course I'll buy things. If I need to buy food or something, like if I'm out, like if I didn't pack a lunch, I'll buy food from the cafeteria or something.
That's good. And For me, I have two children. So what I learned is, for children, they ask things, and whenever they want to buy something, they keep asking. They don't understand, or they don't see how like much it amounts. Yeah. So every time, if I have to borrow, or if I have to ask one of my child, "Oh, can I borrow $10 from you?" What I learned is they will not forget. So you can give them, like, every time they go out, they want to buy something, you spend that money, they don't count it as if you're spending money. The minute I borrow from them, it's like, "Mom, you have to pay me, you have to pay me." So if I was given $20, I'll just give it to him, so that so that I don't hear my son to keep saying that, "Oh, you owe me this much, you owe me this much." Yeah. So today our learning goal is to develop awareness about bank account options and benefits, to learn how to use bank services efficiently and safely, understand when to access banking tools and resources. I don't know how many of you, I'm assuming most of you have a bank account, or if you don't, correct me if I'm wrong. So by now, like, once you're 15, if you're able to open an account, even at 14, age 14, with a parent, you can open an account. I don't know how many have and how many of you don't have. Why do we bank our money? The reason we bank our money is for safety, savings, pay bills, to be able to pay our bills at the bank, to track our income and expenses, to access our money and where from anywhere in Canada or outside of Canada, and to be able to, for direct deposit purpose, and if we want to borrow money, or to take a loan. In Canada, again, so I keep referring back to, I don't know how long every one of you have been in Canada. I don't know if you're newcomers or you've been here for a while. Mostly this program, this presentation is done for new immigrants, the newcomers. So if you've been in Canada for a while, when I say safety saving, is we do have clients, when they have money, or when they are paid, they withdraw the entire amount. So they like to keep cash in their house, because that's how, depending which country we all come from, some people are used to having cash at their home. So for some, it's safe to have it at home. And for some, they don't have that trust to go and open an account, because we have some clients who are not able to access their bank account, or who are not able to even use, they don't even know how to use it, PIN number and passwords and all that. So they don't feel secure. So this program, if it is not like the way the presentation is done, if it does not meet your requirement, please let me know, so that later on, when we provide the workshop, we can have it in a different format. So the 5 largest banks of Canada, it's RBC, BMO, TD, Scotiabank, and CIBC. We have many more banks, but these are the 5 largest banks. Bank services. So when we say bank services, we have a checking account, we have savings account, we have credit, we have loan, we have mortgage, we have line of credit. So when we say deposit, so deposit is putting money into a bank account, into our own account. When we say withdrawals, it's taking money out of our account. Check, it's using, so usually now we don't use that a lot. In some cases, landlords, yeah, but we can do digital. Previously, it used to be checks. Even now we still use it, but we can do digital too. So automatic banking machines, loans, and credit cards. Any question or something that is We good? Okay, no one is saying anything. So interest. So the bank pays us interest on a balance of money in our account. For students, when you open a bank account, usually there is a banking fee every month. But if you are a student, there is a no fee account. And then at the same time, let's say if we're not if you're working, depending what age, every bank has different programs or different plans, depending for how you want to save or what kind of investment you have. So the interest you are charged for borrowed money from the bank is much higher than the interest the bank pays you to keep your money in the bank. So interest, I used to think, I grew up in Kenya. So when I came, I didn't have a bank account when I was growing up there. So for me, even though I knew my parents had, I was a student, my parents paid for my fee, I didn't have to worry about how to use money. All I know is, oh, I need something, I would ask my parents, they would provide for me. Actually, when I was an adult, when I came to Canada, I had my children. That was the first time I went to a bank and I opened a bank account. So for me, even when I came, that was the first time that I learned about, oh, this is what is banking, because when I was back home, I did not open because my family took care of all my expenses. So when I came to Canada at adult age, that's when I learned about banking. My children, I had to tell them to open a bank account at a younger age because I wanted them to learn, to understand the banking system and, budgeting and all that. I started budgeting here when I came in Canada, because over there, as I mentioned before, oh, you ask for something, it's bought for you. And I did not grow up like, I knew money is important, but nobody sat down with me and told me why I have to have a budget. Oh, I didn't know how much, like if you were paying for rent, for groceries, for other things. I knew we were buying, but I didn't know how much money was spent. I actually started doing that at adult age, like when I came to Canada. So when we say, and so I went back to that because we were talking about interest. So for me, how I understood was interest was when you open a bank account, because you have a bank account, the bank was going to pay you interest monthly. But it was later on that I understood it's based on how much money I have, the kind of also investment that I have that's going to get me interest from the bank.
Helen,
Yes.
I want it to be interesting to just find out how many of our youth here have a bank account, or would anybody, yeah.
I
How many
can't
of
hear you.
yes. How many of our youth, what do you think?
Sorry?
I want it to be useful to sort of check with the youth and just find out, let's say, how many of our youth here have a bank account, have a
Yes.
budget, or know what a
How many?
budget is, perhaps?
Yeah. How many of you? I cannot see the whole screen. Can you help me? I cannot see the entire thing. Or I should. Yeah.
Go to
Kick me out.
go to click on participants, Helen, and then you should see on the top right-hand corner view.
Yeah, it will kick me out. It will kick me out of from here, and then I will lose you guys.
Never mind. Okay, so maybe put your thumbs up, and then I'll tell you who the people are. So okay, so the Kenzo clans have a budget. Also have a bank account. Jolie. Who else? Who else?
Jemima.
Vincent, Nima, Vince. Okay. Junior, Raisa. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Afo. Okay. Cool.
For
What about budgets? Oh, sorry.
how many?
I think that was about 6. I wasn't even counting. I was
Okay.
just calling their
Okay.
names. I think that was maybe 7. So, okay. 1,
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I think it's pretty much all of them though.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much all the youth. Absolutely. What about a budget? Who operates from a budget? Which one of you actually have a monthly or weekly budget that you work with? Yay, nay.
I have a budget, but I don't usually follow it. That's the problem.
Who said that? Who said that?
It's the Kenzo Ken Tutu.
Okay. You have a budget, but you don't usually follow it. Okay. Who else has a budget?
I'm actually curious, why don't you follow your budget?
It's usually, I mean, I usually follow it for in terms of like the necessary expensive, like bills and everything. But it's usually like stuff that I don't think about, that like if I need to buy, I don't know, a new pair of shoes or something, I don't usually, that's where it comes in. Either if I expect to spend a lot on miscellaneous stuff, I don't spend anything. And if I don't put anything in miscellaneous, then I spend a lot on miscellaneous.
Okay. Okay. Hey, Helen, any tips on how he could manage that when he puts stuff away from miscellaneous? He doesn't spend anything, and then when he doesn't put stuff away from miscellaneous, he ends up going over his budget.
So I wish we were covering budgeting today then instead of banking or credit. Usually we start with assets and budgeting. I wish we were doing the budgeting today.
That's okay. You can just touch it. It's okay.
Yeah. So based on what you were saying, for example, I don't know if you have income coming every month or pocket money, or based on, so you have an amount. So when you say, like you said, you have miscellaneous, you put stuff for miscellaneous items, that means you do have saved, you have put money aside for your wants and your needs. So when we have money, what is the amount that is our income or expenses? So if we are not working, our income, or it could be from pocket money we get from family members or gift, whatever amount we have. And what are you planning to buy? How much is it? How long is it going to? So if it's $100, then you have in your account $100. How long did it take you to make that or to get that $100? If it took you a year, or if it took you 6 months to save, it would not be wise just to spend it right away, or the entire $100 on a pair of shoe or whatever item you wanted to purchase. But your budget, your expenses, and then you also have to save for your wants and for your needs. So if you're buying a shoe, is it a want or is it a need? Can you wait a little bit longer, or can you find a cheaper one? I don't know if this answers your if this addresses what you wanted me to address. Does it?
I would say so. I think that's a really good tip there. Okay. Where you say, you can wait, you wait. Oftentimes you find if you wait, the next day you're like, you don't even miss it. Whereas when you buy it and then the next day you look at it like, did I actually need this? And so I practice that. I've been practicing that for a few years. I just wait. And usually after 24 hours, I realize I don't need that particular thing.
Yes. So in that case, let me just start by saying, so when we're talking about banking, before you open a bank account, you have to have an ID that is either your PR card, or if you're a citizenship, if you're a citizen, or an ID, a picture ID. If you're underage, then you need a parent to go with you to open an account. If you are 18 and above, you just go and open your account. You need to have your social insurance number. If you don't have, because usually it depends, sometimes some family, it depends. Some choose not to apply right away. We advise clients to open, to get a social insurance number right away. We advise, so we advise families to open social insurance number for their, That's it from my end. So we advise. Okay.
Someone's computer is making some noises. Not sure, some background noises.
Yeah. Okay.
Helen, just before you continue, I put a question in the chat. I don't know if you've seen it.
You know, what's happening is it will, I'm back and forth from my desktop and then back to my page. So it keeps on kicking me out. So I'm not able to check anything. If
No,
you
that's
can
okay.
help me
I'll just read it for just ask it, because you were talking about if you are not old enough, then you need to go with a parent.
Yes.
So I was just wondering what is old enough, so that our youth to be very clear on when they need someone or to advise someone to need someone to go with them to open an account. What's the minimum age to open your own account?
So if you are under 18, you need a parent, you need an adult to go with you, an adult to open that account with you. If you are 18 and above, you don't need an adult, you just go open your own account. So when I say old enough, what I mean is if you're 15, 16, a parent has to go with you, because when they open that account, they are linking, they're opening the child's account, and the parent is taking a responsibility for that. They will not offer credit card or anything at that young age. It's a basic debit or saving. And the good thing is, when you are under 18, even above over 18 and you're still a student, there is no bank, there's no monthly fee for your account. So once you open, then every month, if you're putting money there or not every month, then you'll get a statement that is, if you want the paper, that if you want to go paperless, then at that time you will sign. And now, so a parent, your social insurance number, parent social insurance. So without even social insurance number, they will not open. The other thing they will need is because when you're opening a bank account for the first time, even the bank would ask, even if you're going with your mom or with your dad and they have a bank account, but when the child is going with them to open for the first time, they will still ask the parent to provide a letter with the current address, or that a letter that was sent to the child or to the mom, before they would be able to open an account for you. So we said earlier, I'm going back to what I said earlier, bank fee. So there's a checking account, there's a saving account, there's a credit card, there's a loan, mortgage, line of credit. So a checking account is where, if we're working, our pay goes in there, and then a saving account you can open. Sometimes some people choose to open only a checking account because they say, I don't have any money to save, I'm not saving now. So they open the saving account later on. A credit card, so depending what age, sometimes based on your history, let's say if you opened your account at age 15 and you have a bank account for 3, 4, 5 years, when you turn 18, 19, without even you asking the credit, without even you asking for visa or for credit card, they will send you a letter saying, oh, you qualify for this amount, please fill in your pre-approved. They will say, you're pre-approved, go ahead and apply. So credit card, unless you need it, you don't have to apply for it. So when I say unless you need it, what I mean is sometimes it is tempting when you get a letter saying, oh, so and so they have your name there, oh, you're pre-approved for $1,000. It's really it's tempting. You just want to go and open it. But if you don't know how to use your credit card, please, I advise you not to open. So credit card that's a way you build your history. having a bank account is the way, that's how you build your history. In Canada, I'm going to say in Canada because I don't have information about other countries. And before I came to Canada, I didn't have financial information. Like where I grew up, I didn't know much. So I will keep on saying in Canada because I don't have information about other part of the world. Yeah. So for example, in Canada, if you have a credit card, some people say, for example, if you owe a lot, then you will have a bad credit history. Some say, oh, if you open a credit card, if you have a credit card and you don't use it, you have a bad history. So people have different assumptions. The credit card is a tool. If you are going to use a credit card, you have to know why you want to use it. You have to make a plan for it. But if you just take a credit card and then you start using it, how are you going to make a payment? It will wreck your credit history before even you start a job. So that affects a lot of things later on. If you want to take a loan, let's say for even students loan, from a bank. So if you want to take a loan from the bank for either for your tuition or for other things, it does affect you. So usually when it comes to credit card, sometimes you don't even know that you're applying for a credit card. I'll give an example. When you go to Walmart, you know, at the end, they've been doing for the past, I think I noticed it, 4 to 5 years. After you pay, right away, someone would ask you, oh, are you interested? Would you like to get a credit card? Sometimes you will just say yes without even realizing what they're asking you. Before you know it, they have already checked your credit score, and you're told, oh, you're approved or you're not approved. So I don't know if it is. I think they do it even now. Sometimes in the mall, you will find someone approaching you. Oh, you can get if you, for example, cell phone companies, and then what other? There are also other financial institutes. They would go in mall and they would just approach you and they will ask you if you would like to get a credit card. My advice to you is, if you need to have a credit card, book an appointment with your financial advisor at the bank. Inquire, ask them what a credit card is and how do you use it, and what are the pros and the cons before you just go ahead and apply. And when I mentioned the one in Walmart, what happens is, as soon as you say yes, they will ask you, oh, just give me your name. So you will give your name, first name, date of birth, and within few seconds, they will say, oh, you're approved for this, or they will say you are rejected. So what happened, but at that time, you don't know that they're checking your credit score, score. So what a credit score is, that every time, let's say, you go to Walmart, they ask you for that. Or you go to, sometimes, help me out, give me an example. There are other
The Bay
places.
has one.
The Bay, they would, we used to have Sears before, it's not there. They will ask you.
At the airport,
Yes.
sometimes too.
Yeah. So this department stores, they would ask you, oh, do you want, oh, you keep saying yes, yes, yes. So what happens is, before you know it, you have 4 or 5 credits.
Sometimes.
You, sorry?
Home Depot.
Yes.
That's for as well.
Yes, they do that. And then before you know it, you have like 3, 4, 5 department store cards. It's a credit card. So at times, people don't even realize that they have 4 or 5 of them. When they really want to apply for something, they want to take a loan for a car, to buy a car, they want to take a loan for a mortgage or for some other things. That's when they realize, oh, they had this many credit cards and their credit history has gone bad. Not because they used a bigger amount, but they forgot to pay. I have clients whose credit limit is $500, but they spent $200-300, but because they forgot to make a payment. There is a minimum payment date. There's a deadline. If you pass that deadline after 2 or 90 days, it does automatically affect your credit score. So we have families or clients who owe $300, but it has wrecked their credit history. For the past 5 years, they keep trying to apply, they are rejected. And they have good income, they have saving and everything, but because their credit history is wrecked, so it makes it very difficult. And what's misleading is sometimes, because for us, I can say we Africans, we there is this mouth to mouth, like word information, like from one family to another. For example, if I am approved, or I'll be talking to another a friend of mine, oh, this is what I did to get this, and my friend will go and ask for that one. I'm referring to those who are coming, right, like the newcomers, yeah, right away, and the same person will go apply. And if the first time I apply, I'm rejected, my information will be, oh, don't apply, you will be rejected. So we're not passing the right information, even within our own family, we don't even have the right information unless we go talk to a financial advisor or talk to an expert. So credit card, please be careful. I'm not saying it's not useful, it is useful, but you have to know why you need that. If you're going to use it mostly to address your wants, then it's not beneficial. There are times you need credit card to take care of most important things, but you budget for it, make sure pay on time, and if you can, pay in full.
Helen, if you don't mind.
Yes.
As you were talking about credit card, I was thinking about a person I know, like personally known. So this fellow came as like a student, the UFC as a doctoral student, and ended up with one of these Walmart cards, and he had $50 on it. Like, so he was kind of checking out, and they gave him like this $50 thing. He totally forgot about it for 3 solid years. And every time that, well, he forgot about it, but any time that he wouldn't pay, they will report it to Equifax. Yes. And so he finished school, got a job, and he was now trying to buy a house. And when they pulled his credit report, there was this $50 on Walmart accumulating and kind of reporting. And he was like, I don't have the Walmart card. And they're like, you have the Walmart card.
Yes.
Long story short, it took him 3 years to clear that before he bought a house. He only bought a house like 3 years ago because of $50.
It happens.
Just you reiterate the point you are making.
Yeah, and then what happens is usually even that small amount, the $50, you forget, or you're behind, or if it has gone to a collection agency and you've forgotten about it, that $50, like 3, 4, 5 years, it comes to 1,000, 500, 600. So if you owe them $50, then with time, or if let's say if you have a huge amount, there's the interest. Remember, we said there is an interest and credit card. So what I'm going to do is, when we go to credit, should I share the credit information now rather than the banking? Then the slide of the credit, should I go there?
If you don't mind, I have a question. Thanks a lot for coming to visit us today. My first time to see you, I was with Siwa early this year until April 8th. That was my last day at Siwa. I worked at ESD under Jenny, and mostly my manager was Tiana. Yeah, thanks a lot for coming. I wanted to know, because just you elaborated on the credit card, I wanted to know, among those services that the banks offer, which one would you, among all of them, which ones would you warn your audience about? That when you are banking, bank essential means what are important, focus on doing them, and those that are not really critical to your needs, don't go to them. Of course, you mentioned a credit card, which is one of them. Which one else would you add on? Because today I do believe that banks are part of institutions that do the capital monopoly. They have so many products now, services to sell, and there are people managing them. Those people need to get paid. They tend to shove things in our throats without us being able to swallow them. So you go there, even if you have the you sit with the financial expert or whoever, they throw those big terminologies and you are unable to understand. Sometimes you feel dizzy. You just end to take the product without really knowing.
It's true.
At some point, you realize that I shouldn't take this. Beside the credit card, what are other services that you would warn your audience about that one should not consider? Something like line of credit. Can we understand better about it? What is it? Who qualifies for what can qualify one for it? And what are some warnings about it, if you don't mind to elaborate on some of those services?
Okay, so then if that is the case, let me start by explaining the terms. I know we started earlier on, so for example, we said credit cards are you buy the goods and services with a credit card and you pay the money at the end of the month. So that means you're buying the item with the money that you do not have. And later on, if you don't budget for it, then you end up going into a deeper debt. So interest, we said earlier, interest, it is money you pay the bank, you pay the bank to borrow money. It is also the money the bank pays you to keep your money in a bank account. So when I say to keep your money in a bank account, this is already for somebody who has a bank account and who has invested money. Let's say you've saved $500, but you have decided not to touch that money for the next 5 years. You've locked it, then there's an interest the bank is going to give you. A line of credit is an account you have at the bank that you can borrow money from. So a line of credit is when you have a credit card. So again, a line of it is different. It depends on what stage of what is your financial situation and what do you need it. For example, for a student, who's paying your fee? Did you take the loan, or is it your parent paying the fee, or are you working? So the line of credit is also, it's a money you don't have. So you have a bank account, you have a checking, and when you apply for a line of credit, they have to look at your credit history. So if you have a good credit history, because I don't want to say good or bad. Again, as Lavi said earlier, the bank also has their own agenda. They're salespeople. They're selling their product to you. So whatever they tell you is good for you, if you believe it, you're going to go with that. So you have to have an idea of what you need for what purpose, rather than focusing on whatever offer they give you. You should be able to ask a lot of questions and ask them and tell them why you need this money. So when they start explaining that, it would make sense to you whether you need it or not. Yeah. But the line of credit also, it's another method of part of a loan. So you have a checking account, your bank allows you to have a line of credit. So if they allow you, let's say for $1,000, it's sitting there. So what it means is you have 1,000, you pay your expenses and everything, and you're short. So you want to buy an item, you only have $50 in your account, but the item is $70. So if you have a line of credit, then it taps into that. So if you are not very careful, it also encourages you to use money that you don't have. But with the line of credit, what happens is as soon as any money goes into your checking, right away, whatever amount you owe, it is gone. So you don't see it. So that also sometimes creates a problem. If you don't have a budget, let's say money is supposed to come out of your checking account automatically. Let's say you have to pay your cell phone bill every month, and you got $100, it went into your checking. So you're thinking that money is sitting into the checking, but because you owe an amount, you used an amount that you did not have in your credit card, in your bank account. So you have tapped in from your line of credit. So whatever money you deposit has already gone into the line of credit. So when you think, oh, you still have the $100, but you find no, it's in your line of credit. So line of credit at this stage, for me, if you ask me, for example, if it depends. If you have a mortgage, it's good to have a line of credit. But if you don't have a mortgage, you're working and you're budgeting and you know what your income and expenses, you don't need to have a line of credit. Credit card, it's good to have one. You don't need to have more than one credit card. So we don't build our credit history by having multiple credit cards. We build our history by having one credit card, and then at the same time by managing the money we have and by saving and having a good history of paying our debts. Yeah, so I don't know, have I answered this? Have I answered your question? Or because as I said earlier, like I'm not a financial advisor. There are some things that I cannot say directly, this is good for you, this is not, because I don't know everybody's situation and everyone's need.
Yeah, you are very wise. That's good. We do understand your situation. But someone put one question on top of mine, which was related to overdraft. If you have knowledge also in that area, would like to hear from you. If not, it's okay then.
So for overdraft again, so banks sometimes they will say, without us asking them, they will say, oh, there's overdraft, we can give you overdraft and there's overdraft protection. So for me, it's like overdraft is what it means is, I'm thinking like they want, how do I say? The mentality is before I go into debt, that I'm told to think, oh, I might go into debt anytime, or I might be lacking money anytime. So let me ask the bank to approve me for a certain amount. So in case I need it, I can dig into that. So that's overdraft or the line of credit. So the overdraft is, it's in your own checking account, in your checking account. So earlier I said, here's your bank card, and there's the it's like a branch: checking, saving, and then your overdraft and your line of credit. So overdraft is, it's in your own checking. If I have $1,000, I'm allowing my bank to allow me to access over $1,000. So if whatever I'm paying, if I'm paying for $1,000 and the item I'm purchasing is 1,500, with the knowledge that I don't have 1,500, I'm going ahead. I go ahead and purchase an item that is 1,500. So my bank has allowed me to use $500 that I don't have. And then on top of that, they will tell me, oh, monthly overdraft protection. I'm just going to give a random amount. They will say, oh, but monthly you have to pay for protection, overdraft protection, in case you're not able to make the minimum payment, pay $5. So I have my bank fee, service fee, every monthly fee, and then now they're asking me to have another protection, another extra fee. I have my line of credit. I have credit card. I have all that. So what happens is the money I'm getting, I have to make sure I pay all this, and depending on the amount, sometimes I only end up paying the interest. I think I'm paying back what I owe, but actually what I'm paying is for example, in credit cards, what I'm paying, instead of going to the principal amount or the actual amount that I owe, it's going towards covering the interest that I owe.
If I can just jump in here, I think Rita posed a question in the chat, just because I put in their death by overdraft, and that was just a situation I got in, and so they just wanted me to elaborate upon that a little bit. So for me, the case was like when I was working during the summer, the bank saw the money I was getting in, and they offered me like a pretty big overdraft. Then, you know, student loans come in. I'm feeling good. September, everything is okay. Then by the time you buy your books, you do everything, your money drops. And then when you start working those part-time jobs, you dip all the way into your overdraft. So I might have had, let's say, $1,000 overdraft, like something that, you know, I felt like I had money. Then I'm starting only making $500, you know, every 2 weeks or whatever as a student. You never like raise your head above that kind of like a limit there. So there's gets very expensive. All your money goes away. I think I ended up even closing an account just to try to get somewhere else. But yeah, that's what I meant by like death by overdraft. I got caught into one of those scenarios. Yeah, I had one credit card, but it was a really big credit card. I was feeling, you know, okay. But when you change situations or you start wearing a different hat and your income is not the same, that's when they really get you. It's the same with those like subscriptions too. You sign up for things, you know, even to come cut your lawn, whatever. You don't know that they keep your credit, they keep everything there. The next year they come to cut your lawn again. You say, I didn't call you, but all those things go. You know, really monitoring your things are those lessons I had to learn.
Yeah,
It's true. Thank you. Yes, it is true.
that's a really great point. I remember even in the UK, like the situation was so bad. I remember I had a friend who she had a credit card, and I think she went over maybe like £5. And if you go over, you get charged, I think it was £25, and it's £25 per day. So she went over by £5 and she was charged £25 per day, and she didn't clock on for about 1 month. So about £5 became, I think, like thousands. It got so bad that the government had to intervene and say, you have, you know, this isn't right. You can't have the banks like robbing people. And so the government has been like working with the banks to sort of try and give people back their refunds, you know, give people refunds because they've been charging them so their fees were so excessive. And she didn't know because she just, you know, it's easy to go over by £5. You might think, oh, maybe, you know, I have $100 left in the account. And, you know, you buy something that is £104 or something like that. And that's it, done. And so, yeah, so be very, very cautious. I don't think it's as bad as that in Canada, but be very, very cautious.
Actually, it is. I'm glad you brought that. It is because it does happen. So as you said, your income is limited, and you're offered all this, and we have so many needs and wants. Yeah. So at the back of our mind, we are saying, oh, they've offered me this. Oh, my credit card, I can use my credit card. So before we know it, like we're spending money that we cannot. It takes years for some people to pay their debts. So it is the interest rate also. When it comes to credit card, it's the interest rate. For example, the interest, I think the lowest I have seen is 12%. But it is very, regularly the usual one is 19 to 21, 21, that is 20 to 29. But interest rate could go up to 39%, 39%. And the other thing is also we could, in fact, we should avoid is the payday loan? They call them payday loans. Their interest rate is 69%. So that one, what happens is you borrow money, you will not be able to pay it even in a month. So it's like double. Some people, like if you borrow $500, some people, because of the interest and because they calculate the interest per day, so you borrow 500 and you end up paying like $900 to pay them. To borrow $500, you have to pay extra $400. So the payday loan in Canada, Momentum, I don't know if you are aware, familiar with Momentum, they did a huge intervention. And now I know there is a cap to that, but still they are doing it, 69%. Yeah. How many of you are familiar with the program Momentum has? So for us, for example, this financial literacy, the information I'm providing, so Momentum they have a program, they train you about this. This is basic, they train you so that you can train others. But what they have is, if you are a student, earlier I was talking about match saving program. So match saving for our program, it's strictly for women only. But Momentum has for seniors, for youth, and all that. So if you have an account, or if you're working, or even if you don't have income, if a family member can, based on their income, if they can help save money every month. So Momentum provides these financial literacy programs, and they match your saving 3 times. But for that one, you have to attend some classes, and then you have to make sure that you show your saving, you have your budget and everything, and every month you keep saving, and they do match the times 3. So after 6 or 9 months, you get free money from them. The match saving, you can use it towards to pay your fee, laptop, and things you need. If you're not familiar with it, please check them out. I find it's very, very helpful. And then also even for youth or even for young adults, even for parents, those who want to purchase a house. Momentum also have a 2-year program whereby but at this time you have a steady income and you budget every month, you save an amount. So they watch you have a mentor, you have or a facilitator who follows through. So you save every month. This is for 2 years, and they match that money. So this is towards purchasing your first home or towards whatever goal you have. But this one is specifically for the home purchase that I'm talking about. It's for 2 years. And at the end of 2 years, you will get close to 14,500 free money from that program, just because you were able to stick to your budget. So at the end, you get 14,500 free money, free match saving from them. But at the same time, you get the skills and on how to save and yeah. Sorry, I'm not a very, I don't speak publicly, so I'm sorry if I'm rambling, yeah?
No, you're not wrong. Good job. Thank you.
So,
No, don't apologize.
Thank you. So, yeah, thank you. So earlier I was talking about investment. So RESP is Registered Education Saving Plan. So this is parents, they save for their children's education. For a newcomer or a child born in Canada, family member. So every month there's a child tax benefit given to parents, and a parent will start saving for a child up to age 15. They save, and then it's matched by the government. RRSP, this is Registered Retirement Saving Plan. This one, it's very beneficial that I find even a youth, if you have a job, it's really, so this is money that you benefit in the future, not now. It's meant for retirement, but at the same time, this money can be used towards education. Let's say if one of your parents was saving, has been saving for RRSP, RESP, this money could be used for your education, university, and so on. RDSP is Registered Disability Saving Plan. This is for either adults or children with disability. There's a different kind of saving, so government matches this. So these are registered investments, and government matches an amount. Tax-free saving account, usually for our match saving groups, if they don't have a saving account, we advise them to open a tax-free saving account. So what a tax-free saving account is, that your money sits there. So even if it's $100 per year, that's fine. Your money sits there, and then the bank pays you interest. But in the future, if you have this account, when you are financially stable, any interest you earn or you get from the bank under this, you do not have to report it when you're filing your tax. If your money is just sitting in a different kind of investment saving account, any interest you earn on that, if the interest you earn is more than $50, then the bank will issue you a tax slip So when you're filing your tax, then you have to report it.
Sorry, Helen, I was going to add with the RRSP, even if you start early, you could also use that to buy your first home.
Yes.
I mean, all that money, in addition to using it for education, you can use it for buying your first home. I mean, it has to be paid back by a certain time, but that's another way to use your RSP later.
Yeah, it is true. It is true. So if you, I can go through what an RESP. So RESP is saving for your children
Helen,
education.
just give me a sec. Helen, I have a curiosity question.
Uh-huh.
So these participants maybe like use the emojis. How many of you have an active RRSP? So RRSP is within your control. It is not what your parents do for you, but you yourself. Yes. How many of you have one? Just like show thumbs up, something, and we can just take a quick poll.
Registered RRSP is registered retirement saving plan. So anyone who is working,
yeah,
it doesn't matter how much your income is. Just make just open an RRSP. Make a habit of automatic contribute, even if it's $20. It adds up, and sometimes your employer also has a package for. We have for EI. So when you're working, there's taxes deducted. There is EI. There is health or disability benefit. Sometimes an employer will provide, will match how much you're saving. If your employer is offering you this, don't hesitate, take it right away, because they match double the amount. At that time, you would know how much they will be contributing, but most of the time when an employer is matching it, it is double the amount. It's beneficial, so take it right away. When you're investing your money, so
yeah, Helen, just give me a sec. Like, I think this is a very important empowerment piece that we want to like really talk about a little bit. So I'm seeing, well, Ike, was that you saying it appears as though no one has an RSP? Well, yeah, that is something to really chew on, because that is something within your control. So like I wasn't here for the empowerment pieces, but I kind of had an idea of what Nketi talked about, where for empowerment, we are thinking about things that you can do within your control. You are powering yourself to move forward. So if you don't have an RRSP and you are working, like Helen was saying, even if it is $20, put it in there. Because that is one of the ways in which we accumulate wealth and move forward. So just stuck it into your back of your mind as a to do or a to explore as your takeaway from today. Even if it's just this one, it is something.
Yes, yes. Because the RRSP can be used to pay for education, for your first time down payment. And then on top of that, if you have an RRSP, when you are filing your tax at the end of the year, so RRSP helps you get a refund back. So for every 1,000 you save into an RRSP, you get close to a $300 refund. So when I say this, I'm not saying like if you put 1,000 you get 300 right away. It's based on your income, the amount tax you pay. So every 1,000 it comes close to that, based if your employer deducted the right amount of tax. So RRSP has different benefits. It is you open and start saving, and tax-free too, tax-free saving account, because tax-free savings account, it is locked. So there are different ways. You can either have it locked or you just open and let it sit there. But when it's locked, the advantage is you know it's locked, so you would forget about it. You wouldn't even think of trying to use it unless it's for emergency purposes. But if your money is just sitting into the saving account, you know you have access to it. So whenever you're short or you need, it's easy to get it out. So tax-free saving account and RRSP, open that one, please. So service fee. revise, if you have a bank account, revise your plan every now and then. I don't remember what I signed. If I went to a bank after 6 months, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't remember what I signed. There are so many things that we're not aware. When something comes up, the bank will always refer, oh, but you signed this. Sometimes we don't even know what we signed for. So before you sign anything, please understand what you're signing for. So your service fee, know how much it's costing you to use your bank. See if you qualify for a special package like student, youth, senior, or newcomer package. Use your own bank ATM machine. So how many of you have an idea of how much you will be charged if you used to withdraw money from a different ATM, different bank than your own bank? Do you have an idea how much it might be? Anyone? Okay, so
It's been a while, but I think it's around $3.
Yes. So every time if you bank with Scotia and you try to take money from TD Bank, let's say TD is going to charge you a certain amount and your own bank is going to charge you a certain amount because you try. So if you're withdrawing $20, you've paid like a fee, $3 to $4 of fee just to get that $20. So ATM, unless it's emergency or unless you have to use your own banking machine. If you need to take cash, just go to your own bank or use your own ATM. So use cash instead of your debit card or for a small purchase. The reason a lot of people say this is when you have cash, it's tangible, you see, it's visual, it's so painful. You feel it when it's going away. When it's debit card, like we know how much is there, but we don't see it. So some people say like having cash, using cash helps them when they are budgeting. That's when they say, oh, when I use credit card and when I use to cash to make a payment, they say the feeling is different. Every time they use the cash, they see the money is going and they really feel it. So some people, because of that, they use that method to help them stay or stick within their own budget. So don't withdraw a small amount if you are charged for each withdrawal. So what this means is we're not saying, oh, go withdraw as much as to the maximum or every time. That's not what this means. For example, in a day, if you find yourself, oh, you're withdrawing $20 from this ATM, and then around 4 o'clock you're going to need another cash, you withdraw $20. So every time you do that, if you're using a different ATM machine, a different bank's ATM, you are charged a different fee. So if you know you're going to need $100, whether you withdraw $100, whether you withdraw $20, the fee is the same. So what it means is just take the amount you need for that day. Sorry, someone is trying to say something? Okay. So what it means is if you withdraw $20 and your bank, the ATM machine is going to charge you $3, and then another person withdraws $100, you're going to be charged $3. So if you need $60 per day, take the entire amount at that time rather than going to the ATM 3 times. If it's your own bank, you don't get charged. This only applies to a bank from a different ATM from a different bank. So tips to help you save: have a goal, set saving for emergency fund. For example, for going back to school, vacation, entertainment, and all that. Pay yourself first. So if you're working, make this a habit. So we get paid and we pay our bills. But when we get paid, we are not paying ourselves. So when we save, we're saving ourselves. So when you get money, make sure you have a certain amount that you are putting aside. So you're saving. Make it a habit to put money first on your saving account. Make it automatic. So you set it with the bank to regularly transfer your checking account, so you wouldn't even feel it. If it's automatic, before you know it, it's all gone into the checking or whatever investment you have with them. Some banks have different plans. For example, I know Scotia, they call it Powerball or something. Every time you spend a certain amount, it will automatically save. Put some amount towards your saving. So depending on how much you're spending, it calculates and it puts a certain amount into your saving. Any other question, or do we go to the next one? I don't know. We do have time. Yeah. Do we go to credit now, or what do you say?
Helen, what are the options? It's credit over what?
Sorry?
So what were the options? The next is credit,
the next
or
one is credit. Yeah, credit, and then banking.
yeah, I think we can do credit.
Okay. If it kicks me out, I'll try to join in again. Stop sharing. Let me see.
Yeah, it took Helen out, right? So we are waiting for her to rejoin.
Oh.
Yes. Oh, no, she's still here.
Yeah, she's here.
Oh, okay. You stopped sharing instead. Oh, okay. My bad.
Can you see what I'm trying to share now or no?
Not yet.
No.
Okay. Okay, I have to exit first and then join you guys. I'm sorry.
I think she's gonna join back up again. So I think maybe if you want to stretch out, take a break, move around a little bit. Anybody do something fun in the sun today in Calgary? Those of you in Calgary? Who did something fun? I'm gonna pick on people. Junior, what you get up to today?
It's too hot, man. I've been inside all day.
Hot.
It's too hot, man. Like I just really went to school and then I got back home. That's about it, man. I stayed inside pretty much all day.
No. I was chasing my daughter around with the hose and she's going, no. That's funny, man. That's good. Let's go, Raisa. Raisa, as we're waiting for Helen to come back, how about you share your empowerment story with us? You have a really good testimony. So I think here's a good spot to kind of share what happened with your protest and all the good stuff there. Are you there?
Yeah, I am here.
Perfect. Can you be on camera?
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. Forgive me. Just there you go.
Okay. So was it last Saturday? Hey, be quiet. Yeah. So my cousin was about to get deported back to Angola, and I think it's been 2 weeks now, and so she went to the airport, and she was already sick anyway. She already had like her legs were already. She kind of had like a little accident like way before, and then when she got there, she had a panic attack because she just wasn't, she was stressed and everything, and then they brought her to the hospital, and then when she got there, agents or police, I think, they got her, and they brought her to the remand center. I think it's detention or jail, without informing us, the family. And so we went back to look for her, and we couldn't find her. We couldn't see her. And then so we called her lawyer, and he explained to us where she was. And so I wasn't there. I was at home, but my cousins and everything, and my father, They went, they followed her to the remand center, and we're collaborating with the BPU, um, BPU in Calgary. It's an organization that stands up for Black people's rights, and yeah, so we were with them, and they helped us and everything. And Papa Ike too. I talked to Papa Ike about it, and he also participated in his way. And and so yeah, so they asked us for funding to get her out of jail. And so we paid the next day, which was a Sunday, and we went to pick her up after church. And I was on live on Instagram. I posted everything on my Instagram. We went to pick her up. She
Raisa,
explained.
let me just give a little bit of context for everybody here so that everybody kind of catches along. So the girl was detained, and the detention didn't follow all the rules and procedures properly. They were able to go to the remand center through some protests, through some action of their own. They were able to stop the deportation action from happening through standing up, through claiming that capacity. They went there, protested publicly. They got other organizations to get involved. They got, is it 30 more days for her to stay?
Yeah, but right now it's less than 30 because that was last Wednesday. So
okay, up until last Wednesday. So the deportation order was already happening, but because all the rules weren't followed properly and they knew their rights, they were able to have that stopped. And now she has, well, when they had it stopped, 30 days to properly now argue her case. So when Raisa told me the story, I felt like that was a great example of empowerment, standing up, going out to protest, using all the tools available to you to make sure that people don't just come in or treat you however. So I think, sorry, we'll get back to, I think Helen is back. Are you back here with
Yes.
us? Okay.
Can you, yeah, it's not allowing me. So I'm joining using my cell phone. Can you please send me the link again? Can you email me? Because it's not allowing me when I'm using my laptop.
No problem. I can get you the link.
Okay.
Maybe Rayu said that if you want to explain further from here, I think.
Okay. Yeah, so at this point right now, her lawyer is in charge of her case and is taking care. And we're trying to grant her humanitarian, what is that thing called? Humanitarian, Papa Ike, do you know the name of it?
I think they're trying to plead for a humanitarian exemption from the minister of, what's that minister?
Immigration.
Is it communication?
Immigration.
Immigration, that's correct.
Yeah. And so right now there's a template that's out. If you want the link, I will send you the link. And we're sending emails, phone calls to the Minister of Immigration to help her out and give her, I think, a residency, I have a good memory. So yeah, we're standing for her rights, advocacy, and we're just trying to make sure that there is no more deportation because it is illegal or inhumane. She came here to have a life, to have a better life. And she came here in 2018, December, and she is the first child of her in her family, and she's someone that really helps her family. She helps her in the community, in our church, and she works in the healthcare, field. So she even got the COVID vaccine. So she's someone that's like contributing to the community, and we don't think she deserves to go back like that. And we were on live TV. I have some links if you guys need to watch anything for more information. So yeah.
That's great.
I just had something on my mind. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Sorry?
No, I was going to say something, but then I was talking. So I said,
No. You first, Rita. Go ahead.
No, I'm just listening to your story and a whole bunch of things are just running around in my head. I think that's a story of, like, it's a great success by all means. But as you were talking, I was just listening to not listening, pulling out all of the principles we put into action. So we are talking about power within. We talked about that, and you use that to galvanize grassroots power, right? So it's just to say that when we do talk about these things, they are not hypothetical. It is only when you see someone exemplify it, you can make a connection between the abstract and the real. But also, I was thinking about what like you said, that they hadn't followed the proper protocols, right? So there were systemic failures over there, which if they hadn't been recognized, Resa's sister and nephew, cousin, I missed that, could have been deported by now. It is just to say that as people who are prone to be treated unfairly in a system, you want to make sure that your radar is always up for what the system is doing. If not, that is how you get run over. So those were just the two main reflections I had in my mind. And to me, it's always connecting back to the reason why we are here.
Can you see what I'm sharing? Thank you. So we're going to talk about credit. So I know we mentioned over there. So you see in here, for credit is a burden. So when I say a burden, it is something, if you don't plan for it, it is going to affect you for the rest of your life. So credit is a way of payment which allows you to purchase goods and services today or in advance and then pay them at a later date. So basic credit terms. So the creditor, that is the lender, that would be the bank or financial institution that gives you access to the credit. And then credit is the amount of the money that the creditor or lender lends you. Debit, debt is the amount of credit you have used. Interest is the amount of money the creditor or lender charges you for borrowing money or to borrow money. So credit can be unsecured and secured. Remember earlier we said at a certain age, without even us asking or requesting, you will just keep receiving letters saying, oh, you're pre-approved, apply for this or apply for that. Once you have your bank account and you're earning money, you're saving, or you have kind of started to establish your financial history, then when you ask the bank to offer you a credit card, there are two ways. So there is one is unsecured. So if unsecured, after they check your credit history, credit score, and they decide to give you an amount, then it will be, so unsecured is, that means you do not have to offer any security deposit. For example, that includes credit cards such as Visa or MasterCard. So unsecured is if they're giving you $1,000 or 500, they're just giving it to you. Then your credit card, you can use it up to $1,000. Secured is that you must offer some security deposit before you can access this type of credit. Example, including mortgage, utilities, some line of credit, car loans, the interest on secured credit, if often lower than the unsecured. So secured is, that means they do not have confidence in you, or you do not have a credit history, or you don't have a habit. So they don't know your habits, your paying habits. If you purchase or you borrow money, when you pay, do you pay on time or you don't? They don't have that information. So, and they don't feel comfortable to give you the certain amount. So they have to ask you to pay a certain amount in order for you to be given a credit card. So secured, for some, I have seen, they've asked them, oh, $500, bring the $500, so that will be put as a security deposit for them, either for a year or for 2 years. Then here, we give you the amount maximum up to $500. You're just using your own money. But after that year or 2 year, when you build your history, then they will either increase the amount, but you get back your $500, the money you saved. And sometimes the secured is they will charge you a monthly, no, there's a monthly fee. Credit card has a monthly, a yearly fee, and some with no fee. So when they say secured, for some, they will ask you, okay, pay $100. And then for a certain period of time, that $100 is into that account. But what that does is whenever you want to ask for a loan, or you want to borrow or get another credit card or mortgage or something, that secure, it will show up. So that is to show that the bank still does not have confidence in us on how we use our money, or we haven't built that history. So the other bank or the other lender, as soon as they say, oh, there's a fee, the fee could be $50, $100, but they say, oh, the credit card has a limit of $1,000, but there is a security amount that you have. There's an amount you has to deposit. This is $100, so they would hesitate to give you a credit card. Forms of credit. They charge an annual interest rate. So the first thing you want to know, you want to do if you decide to get a credit card is find out the interest rate first. That's the interest rate. And then, is there a fee every year? So there are some cards they would charge you $70, $80, or even $120 every year, because they're just offering you a credit card. Whether you use the credit card or you don't, you have that amount. And earlier, remember, we said somebody owed someone a credit card for $50, and the person did not know up to 3 years. So what happens is, sometimes you have a credit card, you kept it at home, you're not even using it because you're saying, oh, I don't need a credit card. But because you did not do your homework to find out if there is a fee that you have to pay every year, so in your mind, oh, I don't owe anyone anything, but you have your credit card, you've never used it, and you find out, oh, you haven't paid for the past 2-3 years, you owe this much amount. So sometimes that amount, if you don't use it, there are other ways of accumulating it could be either the interest or the fee, the yearly fee that you end up owing that credit card company. So when you have it, it's not only that the amount you are allowed and the amount you're using, you also have to think of the interest rate and the fee and so on. There's a prepaid credit card. So they are not a form of credit card, they are a gift card. Sometimes when we don't have a gift card, we get a prepaid credit card. So earlier when I said a bank will ask you to give a certain amount, so they will ask you, oh, you have to put a deposit of $500 for 2 years, for 1 year, and we'll give you a credit limit of $500. So you're basically prepaying that. But what that does is, you have a credit card, but still they're monitoring how you use your money in order. So if you want to increase your limit, it's based on your usage that they're going to either increase or take away that the $500 that you have deposit you have put. So that's how they start building trust in you. So why do I need credit card? I could use it to buy a house, buying a car, for emergency. So having credit card for emergency, it's a good cause. But if I have a credit card and just to go, for shopping and like brand items or any other thing, that is not a want, that is a need, then credit card, I don't need to have a credit card, because what credit card is going to do is, it's going to tempt me to buy more, to spend more, just because it's there. Yeah. But again, everybody is different. How we manage our money, how we think about money is different. It varies from one person to another, yeah? If not used responsibly, so a credit card, it's not used, so if you go over the budget, you risk a bad credit, the risk of bankruptcy, refusal of loan or credit card, and personal and relationship stress too. So it does cause also stress. So if you owe a credit card company an amount and you're not able to pay before you know it, they're going to charge you every month. If your interest rate is 29, so every month your debt keeps on increasing, even after you stop purchasing, because you haven't paid an amount. So if your balance is $20 and you haven't paid that $20 back, every month it's 29%. It will be added on top of the actual amount you owe. So in 2-3 months time, like times 3 or times 4 times 29%. So your amount, the amount you owe them ends up increasing, not only because of the amount you borrow, but because of the percentage that they keep adding until you pay all your debts. So types of credit, there's a loans. A loan is when you borrow a certain amount from a lender or a creditor. The loan is usually paid back. So there's overdraft protection. This is what we were talking about earlier, overdraft protection. It's a form of credit that allows you to borrow money instantly from your checking account when you don't have enough money to cover a transaction. Overdraft protection can help you avoid late payment charges and non-sufficient funds fee. So what the protection is that you already have like overdraft, and then when you purchase an amount, you spend money that you don't have, this protection, the overdraft protection fee, this is a fee that you have to pay. You can choose not to pay, because sometimes it's not even necessary to make a payment, because sometimes they will say, this protection fee, all that, sometimes you don't need it. You end up paying money that is not going to be useful for you to, like you end up paying money to a plan that you're not even going to use. It's not even going to be useful for you. When applying for overdraft protection, consider getting a smaller limit amount so you can stay in control of your debits. A line of credit, we were saying earlier, we were talking about a line of credit. So a line of credit lets you borrow money up to a preset limit. So a line of credit, there's a preset limit. So you don't have to use the money for a specific purpose, and you only have to pay interest on the money you borrow. One thing I forgot to mention earlier is, I said a line of credit, once you borrow that money, you're still paying interest, even if you don't use it. You've borrowed, the bank has approved you, but every month you have to pay interest on that. So every bank has a different plan. So when it comes to this interest, you have to ask, when they offer you a product, you have to ask, okay, is there a fee that I have to pay for this? Or if there is, how much it is? Or shop around, because sometimes you can get the same product from a different bank, but without the interest fee. So minimum credit limit of 5,000. So low interest rate, this is 3 to 7% annually. This is a line of credit. So no grace period. As soon as you start spending the money, you will be charged interest. Mortgage is to purchase a house. So you get a mortgage through your bank or a mortgage broker. So high cost lending. So earlier, one of you was asking what to avoid, because at that time I didn't have all the names. So high cost lending. So these are many businesses other than banks where you can access credit. High cost lenders are located throughout the city and can also be found online. They charge very high interest rate, up to 60. I know it has gone to 69% now. Do not help, so they don't help you build your credit rating. So usually we fall into this, like we've exhausted, we don't have a budget, or we have a budget, but we have gone beyond our budget. We don't have a credit card, or you have a credit card, but you need to make a payment, or you need cash right away. People go to a payday loan, installment loans. Rent to own, this is different. This is when you're renting for a house. But pawn shop loans, buy now, pay later. So the shops are like, you would give them an item. Let's say if it's a watch, there's an amount. If it costs $1,000 and you agree to give them the $1,000 on Wednesday, you're not able to pay back on Wednesday. Ahead of time, they will tell you, if you're not able to pay back on Wednesday, every day after that, the interest rate. So by the time you pay them back, you end up paying double the amount. So applying for a credit card. So getting credit card, it's not easy. The bank will ask you for copy of your bank statement, list of your assets and debts, your monthly budget, letter from your employer. But when you go to this department cards or credit cards, they're not going to ask you a letter from your employer. They don't care. You're buying something, they would offer whether you have a good credit score, or whether they are going to rake your credit score by inquiring. They don't care. If you say yes, they will go ahead and submit that application. So every time an application is submitted, I think, okay, when I get to that, I will talk about that. Every time we submit an application and it's rejected, it reduces your credit score. So unless you need it, do not ask for credit card. Do not apply for a credit card, yeah? So we'll come back to this. Okay, I could not find it. There was something I wanted to look at. I could not find it. Okay. Let's come to it. Okay. So credit history, every time we apply for a credit card, they want your personal information, your credit information, your banking information, and then your credit report. So your credit history includes your personal information, name, address, date of birth, your social insurance number, and so on. Your credit information and your banking information and your credit report. So tips for using your credit card. I will come back to this page. There's something else I wanted to check. So earlier I was saying credit rating. I was talking about credit rating, credit score, and credit history. So if someone went and applied for the credit history, for a credit card, they will do an inquiry. There's a soft inquiry and then there's a hard inquiry. But sometimes you don't even know. Sometimes they will say, oh, we'll do a soft inquiry. And if you checked your credit score, if you call Equifax or TransUnion, you find out, oh, this company had already requested. So you'll see a record of who requested for your credit information. So every time we ask for a credit card, so our rating will show. If it shows 0, that means we have no history, too new to rate, or approved but not used. So that means if I'm approved, I have a credit card, I've never used it, then my credit rating could be 0. I have no credit history, it will show 0. And all that. And then if I have a credit card and I pay the minimum payment in full or on time, my credit rating will show 1. If I pay in 30 to 60 days, or if I miss one payment, so when I'm talking about one payment, there is a minimum payment and there's payment for full amount. So if my minimum payment due date is on the 15th and I paid on the 25th, on the same month, I'm already late. So that's one missed payment or one late payment. If I paid 62 to 3 months, so that is or if I miss 2 payments, my credit rating is going to show 3. If I miss 3 payments, credit rating will show 4. So amount is at least 120 days overdue, but hasn't been sent to collection rate or rated, it will show 9. So our bank or any lender, when we're asking for credit card, these are the things they check. It's based on this. Sometimes they say, oh, you're not approved, or they would approve us. So number 7 is if we are making regular payment under a consolidation order. So this one, it's already, we are in trouble. We have a lot of debts. We're not able to pay it, so we needed an assistant. So we were assisted by a financial advisor, or I forgot their names. You go to a consultant or someone to help you consolidate your debts. So what it means is if you have 2-3 credit cards, or if you owe a huge amount, so they will just put it all in one or under one umbrella, and then they'll make an arrangement for you to make a small fee to pay off that debt. So if you are under that, then it will show 7. 8, repossession of goods. 9, bad credits or bankruptcy, and so on. So the credit rating, these are the things they look into when we apply for a credit card. Our credit score. So if our credit score, if we have 300 to 559, we have a poor credit rating. If from 560 to 659, it's fair. Good, it's 660 to 724, good, and so on. And this is how they rate our score as well. So to build your credit history and increase your score, so review your payment history, that is pay on time, use credit wisely, don't go over your limit, increase the length of your credit history, have credit for a longer time. That means having credit card. If someone who just got a credit card now and who had for 5 years, then the person who had it for a longer period of time would have a credit history, but that does not mean the person who had it for a longer period of time is going to have a good credit history or a bad credit history. You can have your credit card for a short period of time and you can break your credit history within a shorter period of time. So limit your number of credit application. You don't need more than 1 credit card. Use different types of credit. So if we use different type of credits, you will have lower score. The reason is if you have 5 credit cards, or let's say if you have 5 department or 3 department cards, one has given you a maximum amount 500, the other one has given you 1,000, the other one has given you $400. Let's say you want to purchase your first car and you go to a bank, you ask for a loan, you need 1,500. Sometimes because of the amount that you are approved, if you have three credit cards, you have 500 from here, 1,000 from here, you have not used that credit card. You go to the bank because the interest rate is going to be lower if you take a loan to purchase some other stuff. Sometimes the bank will reject your request because you might have you're budgeting, you have saving, you're working, but the bank might reject you. Reason being, they see that, oh, you have 3 credit cards and 3 of the credit cards you've been approved for $1,500. You have not used that money, but if anything is to happen, they know you will max out that 1,500. So when they're calculating, checking your information to give you a loan, they also count that as if that you have already used that amount. So that's why sometimes they say, like, if you don't have to, don't have more than 1 credit card. If you want to check your credit report, uh, you can contact Equifax, TransUnion. You can sign up with them. So I think Scotia, if you have Scotia, I know TD has it automatically. If you bank online, you will have access to this, and every month it will tell you your credit score. But that is based only the information you have at the bank. If you have a credit card from a different, it's based on every credit history that you have. My suggestion is, if you're going to take a loan, usually we just go to the bank and ask. Earlier I said there's a soft inquiry and a hard inquiry. So what a soft inquiry is, for them to go into your credit history and tell you what it is. This you can do by yourself. Once a year, you're allowed to check your credit report information for free. And I know if you make a call through phone, if you call them, they can give you multiple times. They can give you that information for free, but you sign up for this. It's a good habit to check your credit history before you ask for any loan. And the other thing is, the reason you want to check your credit history, it's not even because you want to borrow money. Sometimes when you check, that is when some people find out that information that they were not even aware that they had borrowed money or there was something on their file. It's through this they find. So they find they have had credit cards, there was a different address under their name, and some people have found that when they investigated, it was their information was used. Another person had used their information to put it in that. So the only way you can get your information is if you went into these sites to check. Other than that, when you have problem or financial issue is facing you, that's the only time sometimes we find out, oh, the reason you rejected, that is if you inquire, if you ask, why was I rejected? They'll only tell you you're not approved, but they won't tell you the reason why. Sometimes you will be amazed. People, that's when they find out, oh, when you are a student, 15, when you are 15 years ago, 10 years ago, you took this card and you owe interest and you went to collection agency and the person did not know, but that information, you find it in your credit report.
Okay. So we do have about 5 minutes remaining. And so Helen, how much longer do you think it would take approximately?
I think we are done. Not much. So I just wanted 2 slides and we are good.
Okay, well, just would you all mind just to giving Helen maybe an extra 5 to 10 minutes, if that's okay, just in case there are any additional stuff she wants to incorporate? Okay, but if you don't need it, Helen, you don't have to take it. But okay, and also I have to leave at 7 on the dot. But Helen, please carry on.
So managing your debt, how do? You budget, power pay your debts, and then make a lump sum payment rather than sticking to a minimum payment. If you owe $200 and then they tell you your minimum payment is $10 and you know you have 200 sitting in your saving, sometimes it's best to pay that amount so that you can save yourself another hassle from paying the interest. Yeah, limit the number of credit cards you have. 1 is good. keep a record of all your credit card transactions and check them out, review. So moving forward, start, stop, change. So start, what is the one action, task, or activity that you will start doing to build your build or rebuild your credit history? This is something that you want to ask yourself. And stop, what is the one action or habit that you want to stop? So one action or habit, these are financial habits or actions that you want to stop, or activity that impacts your credit that you will stop doing or you will start doing to benefit you. The change is, how will you commit to this change? What steps will you take to do this? So these are questions to ask yourself, yourselves. And then I hope you found information that is that's helpful for you. And I wish, like, because I wish I had known, the kind of information that this group needed, then I would have like prepared PowerPoints just to address their specific needs. And I just hope this has addressed some of your needs.
No, this was excellent. Thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause to Helen for this presentation, everyone who can. So this was great. The purpose of this group as well is to empower them, build their capacity so that we can teach other people in the community. So having a good base, having a good foundation moving forward, I think is key. So I think that's definitely something I'll challenge this group to kind of do, make sure that it's something we speak about to our mentorship community and everything else we're trying to build moving ahead. So no, that was very well done, very well said. So just wanted to say that for our community. Anybody else want to say a word, ask a question?
Thank you so much. And then I really appreciate, and it's really encouraging to see, people giving 2 hours to it's it's a beautiful day. So I really appreciate that you are able to, focus and give your time for this. So it's encouraging. It's encouraging. Thank you.
Helen, before you go, if that's okay, anybody, would you say you learned anything new or perhaps gained increased awareness about anything that you didn't, that perhaps you took for granted before?
Just before, I put something in the chat as an actual activity that the youth should do. Just along the lines of what you were saying, like, have a scale of 1 to 10 and say, for today, for banking, how much more have I learned? 6, 7, 8, 1 or 2. Do the same for credit and just keep it. So that's just to add to what you are saying, Nketi, and then of course you can youth say, like, respond to Nketi's point like right now. That's fine. But just something I wanted to add as an activity that we do.
And for all you guys who are students right now, just remember to be humble when accepting some of this information. I was a student too, and there's a protection you're under when you're in school. You don't have to pay back your student loan right away. Like everything is okay. But trust me, like once you're past that and they come calling you, harassing you, like my bank was Money Mart. It was them I was asking for loans and they were denying me. You can literally reach that low, even if you have knowledge of all these things. The way our families work, sometimes our credit is even destroyed before we know what credit is. We've signed up for something in the family. Somebody needed a cell phone, somebody needed something. So definitely I encourage you guys to answer these questions, take it seriously, because it does come to bite you. I hope that you guys learn about that different banking accounts. I think that's key, like the RRSPs, the different ways to save your money. And maybe we'll just do like a quick round and we'll see things that other people learn. Let's start with Vincent. And if you didn't learn anything new, I just want to ask you, do you think you'd be able to present this to somebody younger than you?
I'll actually learn a lot, especially about like the credit and how it works. It's really important, especially because I'm just turning 18 actually, like in 20 days. So like, I'm turning 18 in 20 days. So the fact that like those type of things you really need to learn at an earlier age, an earlier stage in your life, because it could get you in the wrong, like get you started wrong, and then you just mess up your whole life. And it's a huge thing to know, especially like for the youth in the group.
That's good. Let's go Jamima next.
I think it was pretty insightful, like more in detail about, because I don't know, recently I've been doing a lot of research with like my mom and stuff like that. Like I've been getting more into like, loans and just credit cards and things like that. So I guess most of my information came from my mom, and that is like everything I kind of heard today. I, kind of went over with my mom already, but I think it was still pretty good to like hear in more detail and stuff like that. Just to, I guess it's just a reminder, right, to like keep on the right track and like be mindful of what you do with your money and stuff like that. So thank you.
That's good. We have here Jolie who said, thank you, Helen. That was very helpful. I have another meeting to attend, gotta go, but thanks again. Can we go to Cristiano? Cristiano, you have a word? I always catch Cristiano late. It's okay. Let's go Junior, then Raisa, then we'll close up.
Well, for me, like I never had a credit card, so I just learned about overdraft. That's something that I learned about, as well as the idea of having multiple bank accounts as well. Like seeing that's actually a smart idea. Like when you look at the grand perspective of things, being able to put like money in different places.
Good. All right, Raisa.
Yeah. It was very useful. Um, like I was thinking of well, I have a credit card and honestly I don't use it and I've never used it and I still don't know how to use it. So this is something quite new to me, and like I can finally know, or I finally learned how to use it, the pros and the cons and everything. And it kind of gave me like I want to learn about it more because I'm still like a little not too 100% sure on everything. So yeah.
I see. All right. I forgot about my own brothers. Afo, what did you think?
Yeah, like a lot. I really like a lot of the things. It's like stuff I've heard from you guys, because you guys, like you, Yenna, Amy, mom, dad, you're always like trying to like help us like not make the same sum as you make and all that. But like it's a lot more in depth though, is a thing. So it's like especially like on like talking about different bank accounts, the types. Like the thing we don't talk a lot about, and like learning how they work, even the RRSP thing. Like that's like the first time I'm hearing about this. It's like a lot of like stuff where I'm like we're going in depth on stuff I had some level of idea on, and then a lot of stuff where I'm like this is completely new territory for me.
So, all right, Tutona, last word.
Yeah, and for me, I think these are most of it is stuff that I knew about, but I think the stuff what I'm really taking away today is more about the registered saving accounts and TFSA. There are things that I did know about and I had an idea of them, but I never really thought about really using them properly and putting my money into them. So for me, that was that to put money in, or to next when I to talk about the RSP, and then I even have a TFSA account, but I don't have any money in it, but just to put some money in there as well.
Good. All right, I think that is all the youth. Over to you, Rita, for any final thoughts on your end. Oh, sorry to put you on the spot like that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Well, it's supposed to be my job to have things to say. But again, as Helen, you were presenting and I was listening to all of the information, one thing kept on coming to me, that sometimes when we say the system works against us, it is because we have put ourselves in a situation for the system to work against us. I know it's a controversial thing to say because it is always good to go blame the system. But the point is, if you don't have the information you need to be able to put yourself in good stead for the system to work for you, you end up being on the wrong side of the system. And then the activists will have to come out and activate and do all the things they need to do to right the things. So for me, I'm looking at the glass as half full at this point, where people are getting the information needed so the system cannot screw you up down the road. Because if you don't have the knowledge you need, then the risk that you are going to do something like max out your credit card. And if you want to buy a car, you don't get it. And then they go, well, I didn't get approved because I am a black male. But then really, when you go into the facts, really, there's no credit to look at over there. So there is two things happening here that I think that we should tie back to our larger vision of why we are here. Yes, we want to be able to go out there and right wrongs, but at the same time, we want to make sure that we are not put in a situation where we inadvertently fall into a hole. So to me, that would be the two big connections I can make for the larger vision that we are sharing here today. And Helen, you heard it yourself from the youth, like a whole spectrum of people that had stuff that have learned different things. So 10 over 10, maybe like what, 12 over 10, we are done.
Awesome, thank you. I think a lot of people, we had people planning to go get vaccinated, people had other meetings and everything, so we can't stay too long. You see them dropping a little bit. So I think we can close it there. Thank you so much again for
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Bye.
Bye guys. Bye. See you later, guys.